Okay, so hi everyone. Good morning, everyone. Hello. So welcome to workshop Start the Path for Your Career. My name is Hiểu, a sophomore at Western Sydney Việt Nam, and I am very glad to welcome you here all in this workshop. So can I see your attendance here? Please say hi in the chat box. I will wait for your hi. Hi Hân, hi Đẹp, hi Bảo, hi Ngân, yep. Hi everyone, welcome. So coming to this workshop, yes, you all have something to figure out about career, right? And being a university student, I think that we all have the same objective, which is to be ready for the labor market. So let's imagine with me that you are a jazzer who is the future self that you want to become is a jazzer who is very shining and respected by everyone. So you at the present are a hunter. So to truly discover and unveil that jazzer, you really need to figure out what role leads to that jazzer's like, are there any obstacles on that role, and what you are good at so that you can go to your goal as soon as possible. So you really need a map, guys. So welcome to this workshop. So here we will gladly guide you to that jazzer. So we will help you to kickstart your career by understanding yourself, understanding the industry, and setting clear goals. So are you ready for this journey, guys? Please say yes in the chat box. I will hear the yes from you. Yes, cool. So for today's agenda, we will have an opening speech by Professor Yi Chen Lan. He is a Pro-Vice Chancellor at Global Development of Western Sydney University, Australia, the Provost of Vietnam campus, and then we will have a presentation by Miss Iman, a careers education consultant at Western Sydney University, and then we will have a Q&A for 20 minutes. So we already prepared you a website for the Q&A section. So the organizer will put a link in the chat box for you to put all the questions here. So along with this workshop, please let us know if you have any questions, okay? So now I can't let you wait any longer. Please send your warmest greetings to Professor Yi Chen Lan, the Pro-Vice Chancellor at Global Development of Western Sydney, Australia, the Provost of Vietnam campus. He will deliver an opening speech for this workshop. Welcome, Professor Yi Chen Lan.
Thank you, Tháng. Welcome everyone. My name is Professor Yi Chen Lan. It's hard for you to know what's Pro-Vice Chancellor, but I'm basically the Vice President of Western Sydney University in Australia, and I'm also responsible for our Vietnam campus operation in collaboration with International School of Business (ISB) in UEH University. So I'm very happy to see you all here. And I understand some of you are just started your stage 1 journey a few weeks ago. And probably some of you have already seen me at the orientation ceremonies and I talked about the university and welcome you together with our president, Professor Barney Glover. And really happy to see you all here. And some of you are in stage 2 and also some are in EAP programs. You are all welcome to join this workshop. And today is really exciting that we know when you study university, the ultimate purpose is to make sure, we want to make sure you get the right job, not just get a job, but you got to get the right job that actually utilize the skills you're going to learn during your universities and how you can encapsulate all these skills into a very short but precise, sharp job applications, which will, you know, stand out amongst thousands of applicants. This is very important. And although you may just only started your university few weeks ago, this is not too early. In fact, we want to make sure the students have already got in their mind what they wanted to become in few years' time after they finish their study. So this is the right time. This is the best time for you to join and start planning your future career. And today I have, I'm very pleased to join by, of course, our main presenter, Miss Iman Abu Mahmoud, who is the career education consultant in Western Sydney University. Together, we also have Dr. Tim Ho, who is the Deputy Provost of Vietnam campus, attending this workshop, as well as Miss Gina Wing. Gina is our student liaison assistant officers who actually graduated through stage 1, stage 2 in Western Sydney University at Parramatta campus and continued her study and finished MBA last year. What a great journey. And I'm sure that you will have more exciting journey ahead of you. So before I hand it over to Iman to start this workshop, I would like to share my screen, just have a bit of update on Western Sydney University and also show you what we have been achieving so far. So just bear with me. Let me open my PowerPoint presentation. I assume everyone can see my PowerPoint presentation. Say hi. Say hi.
Hi, we see no.
Good, good,
yes.
good. Very good. Okay. Right. Now, you've already seen the video, so I won't take too much time about these statistics. We have 49,500 students, soon to be 50,000 students. It's a very large government-funded public university in Australia. Okay. Now we have 7,000 international students, but most importantly, we are highly ranked internationally. We're in the top 1.2% in the whole world. So exciting. You can see you are actually studying in the world-class university in Western Sydney University, now our Vietnam campus. But later on, you have opportunity to come to Australia to study in our Parramatta campus. I will show you some photos shortly. So just a little bit about the rankings. As a young university, we are 32 years old. We started as a university in 1989, but with a long history back to 200 years. But as a young university, we are internationally ranked number 34 in the whole world for universities under 50 years. And overall, if you count every university, regardless of the age, year of operation, we are actually ranked 235 in the whole world. So this is really quite an amazing achievement for a young university. In terms of, I'm not sure whether everyone knows about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. As a young university students like you will see, this is very important. Everyone, if you turn on the television every day, you watch news. I assume this is in Vietnam as well. In Australia, always two key topics that in the news every day they're talking about. One is pandemic. Second is climate change. Okay, so in United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, in the recent years, the Times Higher Education ranked university across the world based on how university perform in their academic research and engagement and teaching and learning in relation to the contribution towards United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 2030. So this is very significant. Western Sydney University ranked number 17 in the whole world. So excited, and we are committed to have a significant contribution to the society locally, nationally, and globally in relation to the sustainable development of humankind. Okay, so this is just a brief history line. You can see I did mention that the university was established in 1989. So until today, we are 32 years old. But prior to that, you can see even with our earliest campus located, established in 1813. So it's a long history. But you know, as a young university, we are very proud of the achievement so far. Now, you would, you know, I don't know whether, you know, some of you may have visited Australia before. Most of them may have not visited Australia before. So in Sydney, you can see we are located in Sydney and basically in Western Sydney. So we are representing Western Sydney. Western Sydney is a very large region and the most multicultural region in the whole world, not just in Australia, in the whole world. So people, when you arrive in Australia, if you come to study here, you landed in Australia, in Sydney, people see you no difference from other peoples like me, Iman, or Jenna, or Tim. Like, you know, you've been living here for many, many years, or even born in Australia. So it's so multicultural that, you know, everyone sees this is a usual environment for our living and study, of course. So you can see so many campuses across Western Sydney. And for business programs in particular, we are in Parramatta. Parramatta is actually the geographic center of Sydney. You can see this is a very large area. So in the next few slides, I don't want to take too much time because the focus is our career development. So I just want to show you some photos. This, when you come to Australia, this is the building you are going to study. This is the School of Business building. Okay, we are located in the center of Parramatta City, CBD, Central Business District. And the important thing is, you know, this is related to your career, future career. If you wanted to continue in Australia, look, that in the city center where our business school is located here, we are surrounded by multinational corporations. Okay, we talk about KPMG, we talk about Deloitte, we talk about Ernst & Young, and few other multinational companies are all located in Parramatta City Center. That means you are directly engaged and connected with industries, with companies that will give you opportunities for your internship and future career. On the other hand, if you are continuing and completing your study in Ho Chi Minh City, no problems at all. We have a very strong connections with multinational companies in Ho Chi Minh City. You can see that, you know, we have opportunities for you to connect the business projects, internships with those multinational or large corporations located in Ho Chi Minh City. So either way, you have the great opportunities here. Now it's the time to brush up your skills. You know, you've learned a lot. You will be learning a lot through the studies, but how you encapsulate all these and present it in the way that you stand out from amongst, you know, hundreds of applications. So these are just some photos in our School of Business. In that building I just showed you, you can see we try to design similar classrooms in Ho Chi Minh City, our Vietnam campus, together with ISP So we have, you know, similar type of arrangement, the classrooms in Ho Chi Minh City. And the Western Sydney is as I say, Western Sydney University is a large university, government funded. We have 11 campuses across Western Sydney region. So it's not just the building. We have many other buildings as well as large scale campuses. So I just want to show you some photos. Look at this state-of-the-art building in Bankstown campus. This will be ready, open next year. And this is our medical school in Campbelltown campus, which is health-related campus. Okay, we have nursing and allied health and other programs there. This is our Westmead campus. And look, when I was undergraduate student in Western Sydney University in 1994, I studied in this building. So I have been in Western Sydney University for how many years? You can count, okay? More than 27 years. So I'm very old now, but I'm still working for Western Sydney University. And this large campus of Hawkesbury campus, where we also can bring our students there for excursions, and to especially for Vietnam students who come to Australia, we will organize a lot of activities for you. And this is my campus in Parramatta South Campus. This is the oldest building, you know, established in 1813. So as I say, more than 200 years ago. And this is other campus, Penrith campus and Liverpool campus. This is Liverpool City campus. And this is brand new, only just opened it last month. This is just across business school. The building you may study in business in Parramatta, across the road is another building. So if you are here, you have some activities over there as well. This is brand new building. And of course, this is your building in Parramatta, in Ho Chi Minh City with ISB, you can see there. So I don't want to take too much time, but this is my brief presentation, and welcome everybody to join today's workshop. And thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you when I'm in Ho Chi Minh City next year.
Professor.
Thank you, Wei Chang. Look forward to seeing you very soon.
Okay, so thank you, Professor, for your inspiring speech. Well, I believe our students here are somehow empowered and really eager to start their own journey towards their career with Western Sydney University. Okay, so guys, how are you feeling right now? Okay, so I guess you are eager with the main section, right? So now I will leave the main session for our very important guest. So here, she is a careers education consultant from Western Sydney University, Australia, and students in stage 2 may already be familiar with her. However, for students in stage 1 and EAP students, this will be the first time she joins us to share her knowledge. So now, please send your warmest greetings to Miss Iman.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Lovely to be here and lovely to see so many faces. Thank you to those of you that have already switched on your cameras. It's always great to see people in attendance. And yeah, I am one of the career education consultants at Western Sydney University. Thank you, Professor Yu Chen. It is a beautiful part of Sydney, the whole Western Sydney region, and it's a privilege to work at the university. So today we're going to be jumping into the first topic of hopefully many different events to follow around careers. And today's topic is going to be kickstarting your career. But before we go straight into that, I want to ask everyone to please open up the chat. And I've just popped a link into the chat directly. So if you can all click on that link, you will be able to see the screen here. So what we want to do initially is just to find out a bit about you. What have you already done to kickstart your career? And I can give you some examples. It might be that you've created a LinkedIn account and started to network with people. Perhaps you've started to do some research, or you've created a resume. Those sorts of answers, and whatever else you've done, there's no right or wrong, just to get a little bit of a feel about you, what you've done so far, before I start sharing some tips with you today. And submit as many times as you like, pop a few things in here, and then as your answers come through, everyone will be able to see them on this screen. Excellent. They're coming through already. People have started to sharpen their skills. Internships already, researching the industry, creating a LinkedIn profile, creating a resume, researching. Fantastic. Ticking off lots of boxes already. That's what we want to see. Good. Some exploration. Finding your ability. It's very important to get to know yourself. Getting some training, good. We always want to continuously upskill and be lifelong learners. Studying hard, that's part of the journey, part of the experience. Testing out different jobs. Watching YouTube, yes. You know, even watching videos, listening to podcasts, all of those different things can absolutely support your career. Building relationships, good. Networking. You're not sure, that's a completely okay answer as well, and that's part of the reason why you're here today, to learn some more tips and tricks to get you started. Well done. Thank you for all of these amazing contributions. Just pop back over to the slides. Okay, so today we are going to be focusing on how to kickstart your career. But just before we go into all of the how, I want to give you a little bit of an overview as to what we'll cover in this initial introductory workshop. We're going to touch on very briefly the changes around the work places and the work trends and things that have been happening, particularly through COVID. And then we'll move into knowing yourself and how important that is in your career, before we navigate how to get to know your industry. And then I'll give you a whole range of different tips about how to actually kickstart your career. So I've called them Iman's 4 R's. They're going to be 4 different R's that focus on different things, and I'll elaborate as we go along. And then at the very end, we will sum up everything by setting some individual goals that we can work towards. So before we move along any further, it's really, really important for me to reiterate how important it is to get to know yourself. Lots of people think that they know themselves, and then you put them in an interview context, or you ask them to go and network with people, and they freeze. They don't actually know how to introduce themselves. They haven't given it any thought. They haven't taken some time to stop and self-reflect and actually understand and appreciate who they are, what they have to offer, what they could potentially bring to the table. You know, it's really, really important to do this on a regular basis and really understand yourself, because the more acquainted you become with yourself and your skills and your strengths and everything that you have to offer, the better you will be positioned to actually share this with everyone else that you meet in your journey. There's different ways that you can get to know yourself. There's different things that make up you and who you are. And I've listed some of those points on screen for you at the moment. So it's not just about things like your personality, you know, or your beliefs or your culture and interests and things like that. But it is also your strengths, you know, your achievements, your qualifications. There are so many components and parts of you, and you want to be able to have that holistic overview as to what makes you you and what makes you unique, so that you can share that insight and information with others. So that brings us to the second activity. And what I want you to do here is to very briefly stop for a moment and just think, what are my actual strengths? So if I'm thinking from a career perspective, and if I was going to go and start looking for a job tomorrow, even if it's just a casual job or a part-time job, what could I potentially identify as being some of my key strengths or my key skills? And those skills can be hard and technical skills. So it might be that you're really good at using things like Microsoft Office or particular software programs, or it might be that you have these amazing soft skills. You know, you're a great team player, you've got leadership potential, you've got an amazing work ethic. Everybody's skill set and strengths vary. I want you to think about yourself And I don't want you to feel like you have to have a particular response. There is no right or wrong response here. It's about you and being authentic to yourself. So I'm going to pop this link into the chat, and this time this will bring you to a different page, and I'll share that with you in just a moment as well. So if everyone can once again open up the chat, click directly on the link, that one will bring you to this page here. And what you need to do is just double click anywhere on the screen. You will get a virtual post-it note pop up, and that's where I want you to list your strengths or your skills. So what could you competently or confidently start to talk to people about? Or highlight or demonstrate in your resume or in your LinkedIn profile, or in those, elevator pitches that you create and develop and improve for those networking contexts. You don't have to elaborate and write lots of information. Just, identifying the 3 different skills is sufficient. Good. Communication, very important skill to have. So people skills, content writing, very good. So they can be very specific. Even under communication, there's different types of communication skills. Good. Time management, another important skill. Cooperation skill, good. You need to be able to cooperate and collaborate and work effectively in those team environments. Very important in the business world as well. Good. Stock analysis, business valuation, excellent. So again, they can be hard and technical, or they can be soft, or you can present with a hybrid combination of the 2. And essentially that's what most employers actually want you to be able to do when you are going to be applying for those degree-related jobs and opportunities. You want to demonstrate that you have hard and technical skills, you've got the qualification, but in addition to that, you also have all of these amazing soft skills that can support you to do the job well. Great. Design thinking, critical thinking, good sense of responsibility, communication skills, again, writing skills, public speaking, another very important one. Good. Time management, organisation skills, good. Using digital management, people-oriented mindset, fantastic. Some great responses coming through. Well done, everyone. Leadership, another great one. Data-driven. Data's been on the increase, particularly through COVID. Everybody's trying to access data and trying to see what works in the digital space. So that's a very important and handy skill to have. Being detail-oriented is very important as well. Customer-orientated, absolutely. Being hardworking. Fantastic. Some great responses again there. Well done, everyone. So what I want you to do beyond today's session is to think about that again and think about yourself, and just take some time to just stop, self-reflect, think about things that are important to you. Think about what you would say to someone if you were giving that introductory elevator pitch and introducing yourself for the first time. What would you highlight? What would you mention? What would you want them to remember about you? So take some time to actually consider how well you know yourself and build on and improve that moving forward as well. Let's touch on very briefly some of the impact of the changing nature of work. As you all know, you've been in lockdown, we've been in lockdown, there's been a global pandemic and it is ongoing. Unfortunately, there's lots of things still happening on the global scale. And what this has done for the employability or marketplace sort of thing has been that it has accelerated existing trends. So it's really brought forward a whole range of different things like remote work. This was already happening. There were people working remotely, but it made everybody embrace this technology, and everybody had to upskill, and everybody had to find ways to study online, work online, and manage and juggle a whole range of different commitments. Automation has significantly expanded and impacted a whole range of different industries as well. People have had to adopt digital skills and upskill in that digital space, and embrace technology to be able to transform their skills as well as their work, and also be able to continue in the actual work environment. People who weren't able to do this were the ones that unfortunately lost jobs and things like that as well. So it has had a huge impact on our careers, and those that have thrived in this particular context are the ones that have been very adaptable. They've been responsive. They know about the changes, they've seen them, they've lived them, and they've done something about it. So they've taken the time to upskill, to learn new things, to apply those things, and also to be flexible, to step out of their comfort zone and know that this won't last forever, but I have to do things differently, and I have to figure out how I can continue to do things in this particular context so that I can move beyond it as well. So resilience has also been really, really important, and that's how people have been able to thrive in this current situation. So during COVID-19, the future of work has been brought forward. It really has become a juggling act. People have had to juggle a range of different things. You've got parents who have been at home with their children, have had to do homeschooling, and at the same time find ways to be able to work and fulfill other commitments and things too. It's influenced how we work and where we work. Employers have had to adapt. They've had to find new ways to keep in contact with their staff and have everybody continue to collaborate and continue to produce outcomes through new contexts and new work environments. Everybody has had to find new ways of fulfilling their responsibilities, and workplaces have emerged everywhere. Everybody's home has become a workplace effectively, just as everybody's home has also become a place of learning. Now what we need to start doing is to think beyond COVID. There is going to be a time when this difficulty will ease, and we will start to work towards another new normal of hybrid combination of still doing some of these digital things that we're doing now in this virtual world, like having this workshop through Zoom, but at the same time returning to face-to-face engagement. So we've got to continuously adjust, and we've got to adapt, and we've got to have that adaptive mindset and be prepared for whatever's to come next. We've got to rewire that new world of work and really understand companies, organisations, places of interest to us, so that we can find our place and find how we could potentially not just get a position with these employers, but also be able to be employable and give back in a very positive manner as well. So that whole hybrid working context, so that we're future fit, we're ready for whatever life's going to throw at us. On screen at the moment as well, what I have shared through LinkedIn, they've done some research and they've looked at some of the top soft skills as well as some of the top hard skills that have surfaced, over 2020 and now. And you can see some of them you touched on today, others not so much. But these sorts of things are important for us to be aware of, so that we know how important it is for us to upskill and for us to be creative. You can see creativity, it's number one there. We have to be creative. We have to learn how to think outside the box, how to find new ways to contribute in our areas of interest or in the careers that we're pursuing. And then, collaboration and all of those, adaptability and so many other things come into play here, because they're just as important and they move across sector. So they're not just important to the business school of things, but everywhere, every sector, every industry, these skills have been in demand. So moving away from just some of that introductory skills stuff, let's start looking today specifically at how we can kickstart our career. I've tried to break this down a little bit for everyone. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is 4 R's. I've come up with 4 R's, and that's what I want us to focus on. And these 4 R's are going to be research, review, redesign, and then reignite. And I'm going to elaborate on all of these in just a moment as well. And I want you to think about the quote that's on screen at the moment. The difference between who you are and who you want to be is what you do. You want to be successful. You want to have that leadership position. You want to work for that amazing company. You want to change the world. You want to give back. Whatever those big dreams and goals may be is fine. We want you to have them. But we want you to remember that it's going to be about what you actually do, the time that you take to invest in yourself and also to invest in your career. You get out what you put in. So the first part, the first R, is research. It is so important, whether you're starting a new career or you've already had experience in one career and you're moving across to another one down the track, that you take the time to really research and understand and know your industry. This will help you in so many ways down the track. It'll come through your job applications. It'll be evident in your interview responses. It will help you thrive, not just when you're getting those positions, but when you're progressing and getting to those leadership roles as well. So what you want to be able to do is to start very broad and start getting to know your industry. So thinking from a business perspective, what do I know about the business world? What specializations am I aware of? What majors? Where could my qualification particularly take me? What jobs and occupations exist therein? Which ones resonate with me? Which ones can I see myself doing, enjoying, having the skills to be able to thrive in? Who hires people with my qualification? Who are the employers, both in Vietnam, in Australia, or anywhere else that you're hoping to navigate to in your journey? What are the job descriptions asking for? Start doing some of those job searches very early on. The message that we constantly say to students in all of the careers, activities and events that we put together is to start early. It is never too early to start with your career, to start investing in yourself and to start doing that research. So I want you to take some time to actively do some job searches and see what's available, and start looking at some common themes, some common trends. What sort of experience are they asking for? Who is recruiting? For what? What sort of jobs? What skills are they highlighting in the actual job descriptions? Both hard skills and soft skills. What do they want from me? How am I going to then be able to demonstrate that I tick off these boxes and that I am that candidate and that potential person that they're looking for, so that I can get that position and work for them? You can also research the employees. So utilising platforms like LinkedIn to find people that work at those organisations of interest and starting to connect with them, starting to build those relationships so that they know about you and so that they can alert you to different opportunities and support you and guide you and act as your mentor or coach along the way. All of these things are going to be really crucial as you start to get to know your industry. So that's the first goal, first thing that I want you to take note of today and to actually apply beyond the session. Then we move to the second R. And the second R, I have put it under review. This is another very important step. So once you've done all of that research, you need to start thinking, okay, about yourself again. So we spoke about getting to know yourself very early on. Now this is digging deeper. This is really about understanding yourself, understanding what you have already got and filling in some different gaps, trying to figure out what you're lacking, what you could demonstrate that you have, and realizing what you need to be able to meet those or work towards those bigger goals and dreams that you have. So this is where that self-reflection is important. You've got to think about the self-assessment and very, very much critique yourself. So think, okay, what are my actual goals? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? Where do I want my major or my specialization to take me? And then assess those goals. Then look at the qualifications, look at the requirements. What do I actually need to be able to work in that field at that particular company? And then do a checklist and see, okay, yes, I'm working towards the degree. Is there something else that I need to be doing on the side? Would it be of benefit for me to do some other things, to learn about different programs, or to learn some leadership type skills or things like that if you're hoping to be a CEO or manager or something down the track. So finding different things that you can do to, again, tick that box off. Then reviewing your experiences and being honest with yourself here and realizing whether or not you have started to acquire some experiences that are going to be very important in helping you to get those positions. When we talk about those job descriptions, everybody wants you to present with experience. So what are you actively doing now to be able to be in the best position possible later on to show the employer or the recruiters that you have what it takes and that you are the right person for the particular job at hand? So think about, can I find some internships somewhere? Can I start volunteering somewhere? Can I do some work experience? What sorts of things can I start doing to fill in those gaps? You may have already done some things, that's fantastic. But then you've also got to realise that there's so much more to be done, and then start planning, you know, what you can do when, so that come graduation, you're already in the best position possible. Then reviewing your skills and strengths. So we spoke about some of them earlier, but I want you here to dig deeper again and really understand, you know, from the business perspective, you know, what hard skills and what soft skills do I have? What other skills are going to be really important? So look at those job descriptions, look at the research that you've done. What are the employers asking for? What can I tick off and confidently know that I have? And what areas do I need to work on? Make them a focus, make them a priority, and actively work to fill those gaps in as well. And then review your network. See who am I already in touch with? You know, you've got peers, you've got colleagues, network with people here today, get to know one another, not just here, in other events that you go to as well. And then start targeting different employers, different employees at those different organisations as well, so that they can support your journey moving forward. Then we move to the third R. And this is where I want you to redesign, right, and really understand your plan for tomorrow. We're planning ahead. We have to be forward thinkers. It's not just about today. I don't want you to have this mentality that, yeah, this is good advice and I'll come to this one at one point later on, next week, next year, when I'm ready. We need to start early, and you will absolutely get out of your career what you put into it. Okay, so you need to do these things today. I want you to think about all of the reviewing that you did in the previous R, and then think, okay, now what can I do now to redesign and to take things further and to upskill and to learn more, right? And how can I embrace technology? There's been a huge push with technology through COVID, and everybody has seen that. We're in a virtual space now, connecting across 2 different countries, you know, very far away. So how are you going to embrace technology? How are you going to upskill in that space? How are you going to find unique ways to be employable? What sort of gaps are you going to be filling in? And I want you to really start thinking outside the box, thinking about the needs of that industry, the needs of the organisation, the needs of the role, and being responsive, knowing what they want and knowing how you can actually demonstrate that you have those things. Be creative. The most successful people are those that take the time to be creative and those that innovate. Right? Everybody wants those kinds of people on their team, because it means that you will continuously come up with fresh ideas and new ways of producing great outcomes. We want you to be one of those people. We want you to have that motivation to be inspired and to be able to inspire others to achieve great things. And remember to be authentic. You know, don't just learn from others and engage and network with other people, but remember to be yourself and allow your voice and your attitude and mindset and everything to shine through. Then we move to the 4th R. Okay, so we went from research to review, then we're going to redesign, and then the next part is to reignite. I want you to get excited about your career. I want you to know where you're heading. I want you to give that some deep thought as well. Don't just think, okay, yeah, I'm doing a business qualification. Maybe I'll do an MBA down the track, you know, and then that's it. Be very specific about your goals. You know, what job do you want to do at the end of it? Where? Why? You know, what impact do you want to have? You know, find that spark and really follow your dreams, and know that it's all in your hands. You know, you are the one that can absolutely take charge, and we want you to take charge. And we're going to be supporting you in future events to teach you how you can do all of the different things that are going to be crucial along the way. And then it's really, really important beyond these 4 R's to start doing some career mapping early on. So some of these things here on screen, you can absolutely start doing from today. You can continuously learn and upskill. You're all learning, you're all getting a formal qualification, and some of you already have a plan to move on and build on those qualifications in the near future. But in addition to that, there's so many things that you can do now through lockdown, through the current pandemic, from home. You don't even have to go anywhere, and you don't even have to pay for a lot of these different things as well. You can do things like LinkedIn Learning. You can do virtual internships. You can do things from the comfort of your home that will build on all of that research and that self-discovery and allow you to build hard and soft skills so that you are well positioned to succeed with your future goals. Really important to know where you're heading. If you don't know where you're heading, if you lose that sense of direction, everything can become quite overwhelming and you feel like you're stuck. Okay, so have those goals in mind, what you're going to do first and then after that to get there. Set goals, prioritize. We're going to come to some goal setting in just a moment to help you with that as well. And wherever possible, as you're networking, and hopefully you're all starting to think about networking already, I want you to try and find some coaches, some mentors. It could be alumni students, people who have already got qualifications that you have. It could be professionals that you know through your own network or through family or through friends. Try to find people who can inspire you and guide you and be that connection between study life, the university life, and the employer space as well. Gain experience. It's so important. Please don't be one of those students who waits until graduation and then realizes that they have a problem because they're trying to write an impressive resume and a LinkedIn profile and get a job, and they actually don't have any experience to put on their applications. This is why it's important to start early, and we can guide you and support you as to how you can start filling in those gaps in the future. Develop a system, a support system, share your aspirations, share your career narrative, your story with different people, not just professionals when you're networking, but even with family and friends, so that they can continue to give you that nudge and support and be there to support you at every interval, through the ups, the downs. It is a roller coaster ride, it won't always be a walk in the park. So having that support system around you will definitely help. Network with as many different people as you can, not just business professionals, a whole range of different people, so that you can support one another and they can also guide you in different ways. And as we said earlier, research every step of the way. Even when you're applying for a particular job, you've got to specifically spend time researching that company, getting to know everything that you can about them, so that your interview responses are amazing, your job application responses or written application is amazing as well. And then they stop looking for other candidates. They realize that you're the one that they're looking for. You're the one that they want on their team. I'm going to ask everyone to open up the chat one last time, if possible. And I'm going to pop this link into the chat for everybody. And what we're going to do now is some goal setting, which is really, really important. And on this page here, so instead of just double clicking anywhere, I want you to go first and foremost here and click on the plus sign under immediate goals. And I want you to think of an immediate goal. Everybody's journey is different and everyone's in different places within their journey. If you feel that you've already done lots of research, you've already covered a lot of that, you might now be at the review stage. So that might be the initial priority for you. You might feel that you're at the redesign stage. You've already done research. You've already done lots of reviewing. So this will vary from person to person. If the majority are at the research stage, that's completely okay as well, because you can never research things enough. I want you to set some initial goals, immediate goals, things that you can do from today. And then I want you to think of some short-term goals. Okay, so in the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, what's the goal going to be? Is it going to be to start getting some experience, to start networking? What do you think you need to start doing that you haven't done yet? And then I want you to think about those long-term goals. What is it that you want at the end of your journey? What's your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan? Where do you see yourself thriving, enjoying yourself, making a difference, making an important contribution, not just in a workplace, but to the community at large? Again, this will vary from person to person. So I just want to see where people are at. And then what I also encourage you to do is to either use 3 different Post-it notes, write these down on Post-it notes, your immediate goals, your short-term goals, your long-term goals, or put it on your phone, but preferably put it somewhere where you're going to see it regularly. So it can be that regular reminder when you wake up in the morning or when you go to the fridge, to get a snack. You're seeing it, it's reminding you of the fact that you are the one who can kickstart your career, who can start working towards the things that are going to be important and the things that are going to help you down the track. So we've got some great things coming through already. So landing internships, networking, getting those part-time jobs relevant to your degree, upskilling, gaining knowledge and skills, knowing what you like. It's really, really important. You don't just want to do something that's just going to be a job that's just going to pay bills. You want to enjoy yourself. Absolutely, very important. Know if I'm studying the right degree. Yes, and that's where career guidance and career counselling comes into play as well. And then thinking about short-term goals. Good. Get some skills for your major, learn new language. Excellent. Graduate with a good degree. Fantastic. Long-term goals, be happy. I love that. I want you to be happy at every step of the way. I want you to enjoy this. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. It's all achievable. It's all possible. And as I've said a couple of times already, you do get out of it what you put into it. You want success, the success will be there. But you have to work at it and you have to work smart. Right? It's not about working too hard. It's about working smart, breaking it up. You can't do everything all at once. We need to map it out. We need to have small, achievable goals that will allow those big goals and big dreams to become a reality. Good. Building your confidence will be very important skill to work on. Supporting your family, good, will be a short-term goal. Applying your knowledge that you have learned, excellent. Being successful at work, being a global citizen, fantastic. Supporting your family financially, fantastic. You know, your long-term goals may be to venture up, find your own wings and, you know, work in a different place. You may want to stay in Vietnam. You may want to come and join us in Sydney, Australia. You may want to go somewhere else. It's completely up to you. It's your life. It's your vision. It's your dream. We want to support you and empower you to take charge and to achieve what you're setting out to achieve. Excellent. Contribute to the community. That's always a good thing to do. Try different jobs. Absolutely. And it's become very common for people to have more than one job or more than one career, to try different things along the way. That's completely okay as well. You know, it's all part of your journey. It's all part of your growth. And sometimes you need to do these different things to find exactly where you're destined or where you're most likely to thrive and where you should be. Great. Find and build a team. Applying all the knowledge that you have learned. Yes, that's what we want you to do as well. Pay attention in lectures is a good immediate goal to have. Absolutely. Yes, classify specific goals for the future. Wherever possible, we want you to be very specific. We don't want any of this generic, broad stuff that won't help you. We want to be specific. And that's why we're breaking things down. You know, we don't just want to say that, oh, I want to be successful, you know, businesswoman or businessman or, you know, a CEO or whatever it may be. I want you to be very specific and then break it all down. What can I do today? What can I do in the coming weeks, coming months? And then what's the plan thereafter? Excellent. Don't forget to make sure that you write these down elsewhere as well. Please don't just keep them on the screen that we have all had a look at today. I want you to hold yourself accountable, okay? I want you to check in and see, you know, have I actually ticked off these immediate goals? You know, after a couple of weeks, make sure that you have, and then set new goals, set more immediate goals. And then once you've accomplished those short-term goals, write some new short-term goals that will continuously help you to get to those long-term goals as well. I want you to remember that you are the writer of your own story, okay? Anything is possible. You have the pen. You're the author, okay? You can take your career wherever you like. Everything is possible. The world is your oyster, but it's time for action. We have to start. And that's what we want you to take away from today. You know, that it's not too early. We have to start today. And I want you to go straight after this workshop and start doing those little things to really kickstart your career. I don't know whether we added this to the poll or not, but I know that there will be an evaluation form as well. Hopefully you have found this initial workshop to be of benefit, and I believe we're going to move into some questions, and I will do my best to answer the different questions that you have. And I do look forward to seeing you all at many events to come in the future, and wish you the very best of luck with your individual goals and your collective goals as well. We've got an amazing team of support in Vietnam, and I'm happy to be here supporting you from Sydney as well. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, so thanks, Emma, for your great presentation. So I believe all the information and you deliver are very clear for our students to follow. So during the workshop, we have received quite a lot of questions from our students. So I thought I'd ask you to help us uncover those questions, Ms. Emma. So
I'll do my best.
Yep. So I will show some of the questions here. Okay. So can you see the screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I will start one by one. So the first one is that, so you did mention that we should find some research about the industry. So where can we find those information about that industry?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Thank you. So there's different sites that you can access on a global sort of scale. So there are some great ones that we have here in Sydney that the Australian government has put in place. One of them called Job Outlook. So if you go to Job Outlook, you can actually research according to industry. So you can find your industry and look at all of the different jobs and occupations that exist therein. And I can actually show you all in just a moment if you like. Or would you prefer I show them now? What would you prefer? Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Let us stop.
Yeah, if you stop sharing, I can actually show everyone some places where you can go and open up great sites. So sorry, I'll just get out of this presentation and jump over here. So Job Outlook is, as I said, an Australian government site, and there are lots of different sites, lots of different platforms across different countries where you can access industry information. So this is just an example of some, and I can send a couple to you guys later as well. But with Job Outlook, there's a few things that you can do. So you can do some skill matching, or you could do some career quizzes. You know, someone mentioned wanting to figure out what they actually want to do. This is not uncommon. Lots of people start off their careers with that confusion and they need to find direction. They want to be able to explore different options. So those career quizzes can help you navigate your path accordingly. And then you can also look at some of the different careers. You can explore different careers. You can explore Australia if you're planning on venturing over here in the future. And then you can explore according to industries. So when you click on industries, it shows you all the different industries. Or up here, you can just type in an area. So if I wanted to just type business as an example, I click on search, and then it'll give me lots of different options that are relevant to business. You know, so do I want to move into the accounting space? Do I want to move into the marketing space? You know, whatever it may be, finance. I know lots of different business students choose lots of different majors. HR is another common one as well. So you find what's relevant to you, or you look at a few of them. That's what I want you to do, actually. Look at a whole range of them, even if you think you already know what you want to do, because this research will really allow you to make that informed decision. You know, you'll know that you've looked into things properly, and then you're better positioned to make decisions thereafter. So what it tells you here is what you can expect as a weekly sort of pay at an introductory level, entry level. And then it'll also tell you about the future growth. You know, is there a lot of growth? Is it very strong? Is it moderate? You know, or is it on the decline? This is also important because you don't want to be pursuing goals in an industry or in a sector where there's not a lot of work, you know, and you're not going to be able to have that financial stability perhaps. So there's lots of different influencing factors. And then you can also look at the skill level. So when you click on the area of interest, and you can do this for anything, it will bring you to this page here. So you'll be able to see, okay, human resource professionals, you know, what do they actually do? What do they actually do? So here you can see the tasks, okay, as to what their key responsibilities or daily duties may entail. And then in addition to that, you can look at all the different prospects, you know, so what are they expecting to happen within this particular line of work over the next couple of years? What's happened in the past? You know, what are some of the trends that are existing? Right? And then you can look specifically at the pathways. So if you've identified an area of interest, but you don't quite know how you can get there or what you need to do to get to that qualification, those pathways can give you some information around that. Then the skills and knowledge, you know, so again, thinking about, okay, what sort of skills will be important for me as a HR professional? And that's where you can start to unpack things here and look at different things in this space around the knowledge, around the skills. So active listening is going to be really important in the HR space. Your speaking, verbal communication skills going to be really important as well. Critical thinking, among other things. You can look at the abilities, the activities, the different work environments. So, what can I actually do with that qualification, and who can I work with? What sort of values, what sort of interests? All of those different things are there. And then on the right-hand side, go back out of here. Oops, not that far. So if I come back here and I click on, let's look at something different now. So if I look at finance manager, what it also does for each of these different occupations, in addition to these things at the top, is on the right-hand side, I can also look not just at the salary and the future growth, but I can look at how many people are currently working in the space here in Australia. What sort of skill levels do they have? How many of them are working at a full-time capacity? How many hours are people expected to sort of commit to in this particular line of work? And that's just an estimate. Some people work a lot more than others, as you will learn in the future. And then what's the median breakup with regards to their age group, with regards to the gender? So there's heaps of information that can be extracted from there. Another great place, and like I said, this is just some of the different resources that exist out there with regards to researching your industry, is Seek. So Seek is one of those big job boards that people can look at, and find different opportunities. But in addition to looking for jobs or finding volunteering opportunities, they also have this section here, which is called career advice. And when you click on that section there, that's where you can also access some different industry information. So if I wanted to pop in here, again, business in general, and I do a search, it will give me a whole range of different options that are related to business. Okay, so it's found 87 different possibilities that I can look into with regards to business. And this is part of the research. I can see, okay, what's a business analyst going to do? And what does a business leader do? A business manager. Lots and lots of different things. And you can look at a whole range of them. I'm just going to show you one example because there's extra information that you can get out of this as well. So if I come to, let's see which one. Okay, let's just go back up here. And if I just want to go into business analyst, that might be another common one that some of you might be interested in. What you can also access from this site is some other information that Job Outlook doesn't have. So Job Outlook is fantastic for the information side of things. This one will give you the information, but it'll also give you other bits of info and insights because it is a job board. So here it'll tell me at the moment, right this minute, there are over 8,000 jobs available for business analysts. It'll tell me about the job growth. It'll tell me about the most common salary, the job satisfaction based on the star rating of business analysts, not the other professionals, people actually working in this role. I can find out what it's like to be a business analyst, the different tasks and duties that you would be expected to do. You can compare salaries. This one here is for Australia. You can just get an idea if you happen to want to come out here, but you can look at local ones as well. And then it tells you, how to actually become a business analyst, what sort of qualifications you need, who offers these qualifications. You can compare the institutions, compare the degrees, and then you can come to this section here, which is really important when you're thinking about your own skills and you're doing your own reviewing. What's important to employers when it comes to business analysts? What do business analysts have to be able to present with? That will give you the specific insight around that, and you can look into that in greater detail as well. It'll tell you about different short courses and things that you can do to upskill. You can see the ratings here about people's job satisfactions and things like that. And then when you scroll down further, this is where you actually get to see people's reviews. So business analysts, what do they actually like about their role? What are the pros? What are the challenges? What are the cons? Things like that, so that we can learn from other people's experiences also. So lots of information across those different sites to answer that first question. So hopefully you start doing lots of that research from today.
Okay, thanks, Iman. I think thanks for introducing those two websites, and I think they are very helpful for us to find more information about career. And you guys, you can also research more in details about career in Vietnam through some websites that are introduced in the chat box. Okay, so let's move on to the second question. So due to our limited time, I will pick some of the questions that you have not talked about. So, okay, so you have mentioned about upskilling. Okay, so here's the question about skills. So what skills should I strengthen now to be able to be a global citizen and work everywhere in the world? And I'm afraid of culture shock and scared that I'm not able to fit in.
Yeah, that's another very good question. So there's a few parts to this question. So those sites that I shared with you will give you some insight as to some of the key skills that are relevant to your particular industry and sector. So that's a great starting point. But then in addition to that, you want to really work on your soft skills, because your soft skills in any work environment will allow you to do the job well. So you want to make sure that you're working on your communication skills, for example, and your teamwork skills and your work ethic. All of those sorts of things are going to be crucial, and employers really value those sorts of skills. So if you can demonstrate that hybrid combination of hard and soft skills, you're already putting yourself ahead of the competition, and people are more likely to want to recruit you or give you that opportunity. With regards to the culture shock, and feeling like you may not fit in, Professor Yi Chen said earlier that, Western Sydney is a very multicultural society, and it absolutely is. There's heaps of Vietnamese people here and people from all different sorts of cultures and walks of life. So I don't think that anyone could potentially really feel out of place in Western Sydney, so to speak. But having said that, there are different things that you can do as well. Sometimes if you are planning to move or relocate to a particular area, it's good for you to start doing some other kinds of research. So getting to know the people, getting to know the language, the jargon, what do Australians say, and trying to understand some of that communication that's unique to the Australian way of life, so that you don't sit there confused when people are saying different things around you in those sorts of contexts. So, watching different programs can help you, listening to it, reading up on it, listening to podcasts and different things like that, and more so interacting with different people. So branching out and connecting and networking with different people who can guide and mentor and coach you to help minimize any of that cultural shock would be really important.
Okay, so thanks, Eamon. So I guess that studying at Western Sydney already provides us an opportunity to get used to those culture differences, right?
Yeah, there's heaps of opportunities. There are jobs and job clubs, not just job clubs, but societies, clubs, a whole range of different groups that you can join. There's even things that you can get help with around your speech. We often have international students that are worried about their verbal communication skills. They feel that, they need to improve those skills to be able to mix well with the society. So there are things like Speech Active and other programs that you can be a part of that can provide some of that intense training to help you with that. So please don't feel like you're on your own and no one's going to support you with all of these extra things. There's heaps of support across the university and lots of support outside of the university as well.
Okay, so along with your answer, there is a part about networking. So there's also a question about network. So how can I expand my network when I was an undergraduate student?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the great ways to expand your network, and perhaps we can touch on this in a future workshop as well, is through LinkedIn. So creating a LinkedIn profile gives you access to over 770 million people on a global scale. Professionals, students, alumni, a whole range of different people across industries and sectors that you can start connecting with to broaden that network. So that's one way. Other ways that you can broaden your network is through having those conversations. Every time you meet someone, every time you attend a different event, whether it's at a workshop or face-to-face, stepping out of your comfort zone and sharing your aspirations and sharing your goals and things like that, so that you build those relationships, you plant those seeds, and people want to continuously connect with you. In addition to that, you've also got things like professional associations. There are professional associations in Australia, there are others in Vietnam, there are others that are global. You can become a member of these different professional associations that align with business or other areas of interest, and network with people in that space as well. It's not just made up of professionals working in that space, but there are also alumni, you know, students who have just graduated or just ahead of you, or other students like you who are still studying that you can connect with, that you can engage with, and that can support your journey. So there's lots of different avenues of support, and it's up to you to research and find which ones you want to start connecting with. And as I said, you can do that from now. You don't have to wait until you're out of lockdown or anything to start building your network. You can start using the virtual space to do so.
Hello, everyone. May I just invite some students who can unmute yourself and give direct questions so you can have more chance to interact with Iman. Now, Bùi Thanh Thảo, are you there? Could you can give your question directly? Or An Ngọc Thảo as well. So I saw some face, Gia Bảo as well. Linh Bạch, yes. Could you please unmute yourself and you can give the direct questions. Gia Bảo, do you have any questions for Iman? Okay. Linh Bạch, are you there?
Yes.
Do you have any question for Iman? I guess that there is a lot of questions. So instead of just reading on the screen, it's a little bit boring and sleepy for everyone. So you can unmute yourself and talking with Iman directly. And I think she's very happy too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to hear from you.
Yes, me too. Because when you're talking one way, it's so boring, right?
Yeah.
So feel free to do that now. Okay. Even you just typing your questions on screen, still can have chance to unmute yourself. Ling, any question, please?
So in the screen, there's a question that I'm also curious about is, how can I write in my CV if I don't have any experience?
Okay, Iman, you got question already.
Yes. Yeah. So with regards to your resume, we can support you with this, you know, perhaps at future workshops and events as well. But it is very important for you to start doing that self-analysis. So I love the fact that you've already identified that you don't have any experience. So now it's going to be about, okay, what can I do to start getting some experience? I'm going to start upskilling. You know, maybe you can do an internship or find an internship somewhere. There are virtual internships that you can do from home that happen through different companies that give you real life examples, real life scenarios for you to work through without having to go anywhere. You know, you've got work experience opportunities through university and beyond university that you can participate in. You can start volunteering. That's a fantastic way for you to gain experience. You find companies, organizations that are of interest to you, that align with some of your goals. You tell them, you network with them, you tell them that you're a student and that you're, you know, hoping to be whatever it may be, and that you would love the opportunity to learn with and from them. Would they be willing to take you on board for a couple of hours a week? You know, you don't have to go and do lots of volunteering, lots of hours every day. It can be just a couple of hours a week, a couple of hours a fortnight, just to get your foot in the door, start gaining some of that experience, gaining some of those skills, because everything that you do will give you something to put on your resume, and you need to be able to demonstrate things on your resume.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Iman more, Zabao. That's the reason in the university we always organize project and recruitment student for doing. And you can see on the Facebook, Zabao, Western Sydney, a lot of projects have been open and recruit students for doing. Some job is volunteer, but some job is actually have pay a little bit. So that is a chance for our students to explore yourself. Okay, don't scare, just join with us. Because as I mentioned, that is opportunity for everyone to explore yourself. If you have no working experience. Okay, so the other student, we also invite you join a project organized by Western Sydney in Vietnam. That's a chance for everyone to explore yourself, as Iman just suggested. Okay, so any other student? Thank you, Zabel and Ling, for your questions. Any other student can unmute yourself and open or read your questions so you can have chance to interact with Diamond. Quỳnh Như, are you there? Or Đạt, Bá Đạt, are you there? I've seen you just start or join the event from the beginning. Are you there, Bá Đạt?
Yes.
Okay, so could you please give any question you prefer?
Yeah, I actually don't have any question right now, but I do have learned a lot from today, and I just actually planning on my initial plan to get familiar with the field, which is business. So.
Oh, fantastic. That is great news for Iman. That is 30 minutes speaking his work now. That said that he's learned a lot and he can start working from research job right now. Thank you, Dad. So anyone can share as well. Not only talk about questions, you can share anything you learn from the workshop would be great for us who organize the workshop for students. Me, are you there? You want to share with us? Or An Nguyễn, we have two, An Trần and An Nguyễn. An Nguyễn, are you there? Hello.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So I would like to ask about our very own potential. So every now and then when I see some job postings, my very first thought that comes to my mind is, no, I am not potential enough for this role. I don't have the capacity to do this role. However, when I started doing some other work, I feel like that I could have grasped that opportunity, but because of my very own prejudice, because of my very own thinking, I prevented myself from doing that work. So how do I deal with this negativity and, how to believe more in my potential?
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic question. Thank you very much for asking that one. And this is so common, not just, with the audience that's here today. I've seen some of the questions on screen, but even with cohorts here in Sydney, people often doubt themselves. They have this sense of, I can't do it. I'm not good enough yet. They're not going to give me a chance. So why should I try? And I think the most important thing initially is to try to build that confidence, and where every time you upskill, every time you learn different things, your confidence will naturally build. And the more research that you've done and the more, connections that you've built, that will support to, push away some of that negativity and help keep you in the right mindset. But then in addition to all of that, what you want to do is also manage your expectations and look for the right opportunities. Time and time again, people do the wrong thing. They go and they start looking at management type positions, right? And they want to start there and they want to apply for those jobs and they want that salary, straight off. And they don't realize that, you've got to start somewhere. You've got to manage those expectations and look at something suitable. Look at the job description and really unpack it and realize that you do or you don't, meet the criteria. If you don't meet the criteria, if you can't tick off the fact that you have the different skills that they've highlighted and that you have the experience that they want, then that job isn't right for you at this particular point in time. Doesn't mean you can never do that job, but it's not the right entry job for you. So you've got to find the right jobs. Look at that job description, see what they're actually asking you for, see what you can demonstrate that you have on your, LinkedIn profile, on your resume, in your interview and things like that. And just try to manage yourself in a way that you focus on getting your foot in the door. Okay, we have to be willing to make some sacrifices and to start somewhere. And that's why I said volunteering before. You go, you volunteer sometimes people, they say to me, you know, man, I don't have time to volunteer. You know, that's not a priority for me. I'm not going to get anything out of it. And I say to them, no, that's the wrong mentality to have. I have volunteered. I've got different degrees and different qualifications up my sleeve. And as I moved into different areas and whatever, I did that. I put into action what I'm telling you to do. And I know that it works, not just because it's worked for me, but it's worked for others. You have to be willing to start somewhere. You know, if it's volunteering, people get to see you in action. People get to see the soft skills that you have, the knowledge and insights that you can bring. So what starts as a role that doesn't financially give you something will give you networks. It will give you skills. It will give you opportunities to put on your resume and things like that. And then that leads to other opportunities. You'll find that more doors start to open. People start to know about you. People get impressed by you and what you have to offer. And then that can lead to casual work and part-time work and degree-related work and other opportunities in the future as well. So you have to really have that right mindset, be willing to start somewhere, okay? And then gradually we get to those bigger goals. That's why I said, you know, let's not just have those long-term big goals. Let's first look at those initial immediate goals, then short-term, then long-term. It's a gradual process, your career. You don't just get what you want overnight. You have to work at it step by step.
Okay.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. I saw some comment or question from my student. I'm studying international business. However, my passion is working on supply chain management. What certificate that I can start pursuing from the first year of university? So the great question. For those questions, we prepare for you another workshop at the end of this month, which is shares about what a job may be offer if you graduate from international school business. I hope that you can see you on 30th of October. So those questions will be answered step by step, okay? That girl. We have only 10 minutes left. So Iman, how many questions you think we can solve? And what happened with the question which haven't been solved?
Yeah, so I think we can answer several more in the next 10 minutes, and then anything else that hasn't been answered, perhaps you can send my way, and I will try and send back some information for you to share with the students as well.
Okay, so everyone read, calm, and ensure that all your questions will be answered, okay? Although we have only 10 minutes, which is can interact with Iman, but still after the workshop, Iman will be happy to answer all of your questions. Now, just save time, 10 minutes only. Now, who still have some question? Unmute your speaker, and then you can talk. Only 10 minutes left. Now, I count down. 10, 9, 8. Take your chance immediately. Otherwise, we don't have chance to talk with Iman directly anymore. So you can wait a lot of time. I think so. Maybe 1 month later on, Iman may back. So now take the chance. 10 minutes left. Okay. Anh Thư, are you there? Ngọc Thảo. Okay. So it seems to me that there are a lot of questions have been solved. Are you there? Tell me. Or someone can share your idea, what you've learned today. It would be great. It would be great. Phương Bích, are you there? Oh, I mean, you see, one of the very stressful job of teacher or lecturers that is most of the time we just see screen very dark of the day. Yes.
And maybe that's another thing that I can comment on as well for everyone here today. That's another way that you can start to build your confidence. You know, everybody talks about lacking confidence and things like that. This is a gradual step, you know, so put some pressure on yourself to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and remind yourself that nothing's going to happen if people see me, and there's no silly questions. And each and every time you attend these sorts of workshops or any sorts of events, turn on your camera and don't be afraid to engage with people in attendance here or all the presenters, because that's how you're going to build your confidence and build your networks and work towards success. So it's those gradual little things that you do that at first feel uncomfortable, and then it becomes second nature and it doesn't faze you anymore. You don't care if everyone can see you and everyone can hear you. It doesn't bother you.
But that's the comment or suggestion, I need it, yes, for that I then can use that for my my class as well. That is the way we can learn or practice our confidence very soon.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is a great safe space. I say this to students all the time at my workshops and guest lectures and things like that. You know, I want you to feel like you are with family, with friends, you know, you're not with strangers, you're with people in the same sort of boat, people that are here to support you in every way that they possibly can. So utilize these opportunities to be able to develop your skills and also your knowledge, insight, your confidence, everything else, so that when you go and you sit there in front of an interview panel or you're networking with strangers, you feel better prepared to do so because you've had this experience, you know, and that's going to really help you in the future as well. So if you don't make the most of this now, unfortunately, you'll only find it so much harder when you enter the workplace later on.
Oh, right. I see. Thank you for sharing. That is fantastic, sharing between lecturers and the person who always doing in the front of the student, which is who always just turn off cameras. So it's also a fantastic. But as the time is now, it's not much. So I have to handle those to Thanh Thảo, MSc, so she can just maybe some questions still waiting for you, or we can talk back to Thanh Thảo. Thank you, Thanh Thảo. I'd like to hand you back.
Thank you, Cô Hằng, for the facilitation. So there are still some questions left here, but I think that most of the questions have been covered by Eamon for the presentation. So because due to our limited time, I think we will stop the Q&A session here. And I hope through this workshop, all of the students have covered all 5 essential pillars for your career journey, including knowing yourself, knowing the industry, the changing nature of work, and about how to kickstart your career, how to do career mapping, and about setting your goals. So these pilots will be discovered soon with Career Hub in the future. So please take a moment to think what aspect you want to discover more and let us know. Okay, so thank you, Professor Yi Chen, Professor Tim Ho, Miss Iman, Miss Jenna for joining workshop with us and helping us to figure out about career today. And before we close this workshop, I hope you could spend 5 minutes to fill out our feedback form so that we can improve our workshop today and we can know what topic you want to discover in the future. Okay, so the organizer will put the link of the feedback form for you in the chat box, and please access the link and give us some constructive comment. Okay. So while people will do their feedback, can we have a picture together so that we can close this workshop? Yep. Yeah. Can everyone turn on the camera so that we can have a nice closing event and we will have a picture together? Okay.